Hello, welcome back to Frogboy X1 Gaming. I'm Andrew, and today I want to talk about ray tracing versus no ray tracing when it comes to PC. And okay, so first of all, I'm pretty new to PC, so I don't have all the answers yet. I don't have everything all figured out. But I have noticed that one of the big pushes in PC gaming has been ray tracing. And with ray tracing comes a lot of FOMO because let's face it, the new NVIDIA card, the 4090 and the 4080, whatever, that are going to be able to run like 4K with ray tracing and all of that stuff and still give you high frames, them are expensive cards. That's a lot of investment. But if you're just a regular gamer like me that came from console, that's getting into PC, that's trying to, you know, trying to figure things out and try to learn things and stuff, I'll tell you, I went with a 3080. First, I started off with the 3060 Ti, and then I moved up to the 3080. That was pretty much the card I'd always planned to get, but just there wasn't any in stock. And then when I finally got one, I'd already had the 3060 Ti build, and that 3060 Ti gave me a pretty good taste of what PC gaming has to offer. Now, if you're like me and you're coming from the console space, you're going to immediately be hit with a lot of different choices. And if you're like me, you're just going to want to hit max on everything and let it run, And I mean, it's pretty cool. Like, it is pretty cool. But I will tell you, when it comes to ray tracing, I'm not 100% sold on it just yet, because when you really look at it, when you're playing the game and you're looking at the image, no screen counters on there. Because trust me, I don't play my games with a screen counter. I don't care about that when I'm playing my games. But I'll tell you what I do notice more: the way the game feels. I notice the way the game feels more than I notice the ray tracing. Because when you're in a game, you're not sitting there looking at the reflections. You're not looking at, the shadow quality. You're not looking at any of that stuff. Unless you're playing like a single player game, uh, then you might notice it because you might be dawdling, stopping, looking around, stuff like that. So my honest opinion, this is how I feel. Like, after playing, some Gotham Knights tonight, and after the update, I was playing around with this on 4K and still being able, like, the patch has like really evened this game out and like really made it a lot better, because now I'm getting, pretty much a 60 FPS experience at 4K with ray tracing still enabled. So I'm like, wow, that's pretty cool. You get an open world with 60 FPS, you get your ray tracing. But I'll tell you what, when I switch off the ray tracing, I get even better frames. So the game feels even smoother. So I'm like, gosh, what do I do, man? I mean, like, the ray tracing, it looks nice when I go to a place and I stop and I look at it, but man, this is kind of an action-packed game. Like, this is a game that you want to play. But is this a game that you want to spend $1,600 on a graphics card so you could play it at a high frame rate with ray tracing and all of that? I don't know, man. Like, I don't feel like pricing for ray tracing at a playable frame rate that you're going to notice and feel and be and care about. I don't think we're at an affordable range for that yet. Now, that 3060 Ti, that build was $1,600. That one would give me 4K 60 on a lot of games that I was playing, like them older games, anything from last gen. It would pretty much give me a 4K 60 experience on any of them older games. Some of these new cross-gen games, still getting 4K 60 on some of those and like I said, I just set everything to max and see what it would do. Going down to high or medium or low would definitely increase the performance that you would get just on that. But I'll tell you something. There's something that's a little bit weird on PC games. Like, even low settings look better than half the games that we played last generation. Just low settings. So if you're hitting low and you're like, oh man, this looks great, and then you bump it up to medium and you're like blown away, and then you go to freaking high or ultra, you're like, oh my gosh, man, that looks so good. Because it really does help. That extra clarity in the image and the better textures, all of that stuff, it does look better. And it does it does kind of leave you feeling like, oh my gosh, man, should I get a better card so I can get way more frames? Because that's the biggest thing you're going to notice going to PC gaming right off the bat is the FPS. You're going to notice way smoother gameplay. You're going to notice a lot. It just feels like you can feel that. Like you'll already be like last generation games, like at low, medium settings, you were like, oh gosh, this looks good. And then like seeing that and then being able to play it at like unbelievable frame rates, you're like, whoa, this is incredible. So like it sucks you in pretty quick and you kind of start to feel like, oh my gosh, man, what am I doing? And then you put ray tracing on top of that. And the ray tracing is going to make the shadows look better, or it's going to make the reflections look better, or it's going to make the global illumination look better, or you just any of the many things that ray tracing can be used to do. It's going to make the picture look even that much better. But I'm telling you right now, the screen space reflections on Ultra look really good. They look really good, and they don't chop away half of your freaking performance. Like it's pretty intense. So I don't know if I'm 100% sold on ray tracing at this point. I don't feel like, because I hear a lot of people in the PC space that, you got your high end guys that are like, man, I just got to have all the new features, and then you got the guys that are like, I don't care about that. I want frames. And you understand like immediately once you start playing PC, like once you play a game, like your favorite game on PC with a really high frame rate, like you instantly feel that. And that translates to the screen and it looks super smooth and it just feels good. And like your reaction time gets better and like it feels good. Like it does enhance the way you play video games. Like it makes it better. And so once you go from that, you're like, ooh, gosh, man. And then you start thinking like, man, is 4K really, really worth it? And like you start having all these emotions and all this stuff goes through your head like so quickly that you're like, whoa, man, like, and then you feel lost. Well, at least I feel lost. I feel lost sometimes because I'm like, my gosh, man, this PC stuff is like, whew, you got so much option and so much choice that like sometimes you're just like, oh, I don't know, man, because like medium settings look incredible. But you're like, boom, I can get 4K with maximum settings. So you do that. And then you're suffering with a little bit lower frame rate. So anything that I play on this 3080 at 4K with DLSS and all of that stuff, I get between 30 and 80 frames a second at 4K. 30 and 80. I mean, sometimes it goes a little higher. Like older games will go higher than that too. But like this 3080 is a beast. I'm glad I bought it. I'm happy with it. I'm getting really good results. I get a little bit frustrated sometimes when I'm just like, I want everything maxed out and I have unrealistic expectations when it comes to the PC sometimes, but that's just me. That's just me being dumb. But this thing's opened my eyes to a lot of things. It's definitely made me appreciate the $500 entry point for the consoles. Like definitely, they're both worth it. They are both worth it. But ray tracing, man, I don't think ray tracing should even be talked about on these consoles yet. Unless it's like something super simple, like super simple that you can get 60 FPS, you can get 4K, you can get all that with ray tracing and everything. Whatever. I mean, if they need to cram it in there to get you at 60, but I would like to see these guys shoot for like higher frame rates. And that's good that both of them are willing to do that because they both have support for 120 FPS, which is pretty good, compared to a lot of the games I've been playing lately on PC. I'm sitting anywhere from like 70 to 120 to 165 FPS on a lot of games. And that's cool. That's cool. It definitely intensifies it enhances my experience so much better. Like it's weird. Like I've got just so much stuff going on when it comes to like PC and consoles and gaming right now. I'm just like, man, I feel like a little fat kid in a candy store and I feel spoiled. And I do. I feel spoiled. I get on Steam or, in eBay or something and I get to buy cheap codes for old games that I really, really like. And then I get to see them at their like maximum ultimate glory at like over 120 FPS. And I'm like, this is freaking incredible. But at the same time, I'm like, man, I love the value of my Xbox and my PlayStation. Like I love that. I love being a console gamer. Like I love it. I don't ever want to give it up, and I love it. And I'm grateful I got to create a channel and share this with you guys because it still allows me and gives me a reason to not just go 100% into PC and start dealing with that. I still get to stay grounded, and I love that. I love that, and that's the best feeling in the world, to be able to stay grounded and be able to still look at each one of these for their strengths and weaknesses, and be able to, decide like, hey man, I would just as soon play that game on the Xbox 60 FPS 4K whatever than put it on my PC and play it that way, because it's pretty cool. So yeah, I'm pretty much at a point where ray tracing, gosh man, I don't notice it as much as I notice the frames. So I don't think I'm going to shoot for ray tracing that much anymore. Like I'll always definitely click it on and see how it looks, but when I play my games, I'm not playing them with ray tracing. So if you like this content, don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next one.